Hello guys, and welcome back to AE2 and thermal. I don't know which playlist this should be in, but this is a build using only AE2 stuff to control thermal stuff to make a tree farm power plant fully automated thanks to AE2. And then using some pipes and stuff just to send items, because I didn't want to use import bus everywhere or storage or interfaces when I can actually just send everything to one interface. But otherwise I try to keep it as AE2 as possible. So if you haven't seen the old build, well, in that case, do that, because we're using the Phytogenic Insolator to grow trees. And we're using other machines to make charcoal and pulverized charcoal, so it's good if you know exactly how it works before digging into this. But if you have a rough idea, I think you can follow along. So again, where do we start? Well, I think we start around the insulator. Here is where we go grow trees. They will need fertilizer in this lot and a sapling. And there are two ways to do it. I will first show you this method where I'm using a pattern that creates, can we see that? No, 16 wood out of 1 fluxed phytogrow and 1 oak sapling. So when we are low on wood, we can craft it. We can do it manually, like this. Select sapling, phytogrow, and they will end up here, and they will be output to the left. They're both in and out to the left here. So we're sending them back into the interface, and that will give us, oh, it's done. That will give us the wood. So that's good. Next step is to create charcoal. And let's see. I have two setups. I tried to use one first, but one furnace can only feed one setup of this steam boiler, steam turbine setup that I've used before. So I went with 2 because there are no problems for this insulator to keep up. I think you can expand this and have probably 1 or 2 more before this becomes some form of bottleneck. But for now, let's run with 2. So these are configured to, at all times, export oak wood. And by, well, acceleration card is just to get up to speed. And then the crafting card makes it so that if we don't have any wood in the system, this crafting card can order some wood according to the same recipe pattern that we had before, and export it. It's this setting, by the way. Use stocked items or craft while exporting. And down here we have the same thing. This furnace is configured to be run on high signal, and to make this not always run, I have this level emitter here set to charcoal. When levels are below 64 charcoal, this one will be turned on. And the lower one exactly the same. So if I remove half of the charcoal, now we have 32, 36. You see these are both turned on and these are running. We are exporting all the wood that we had. And now we're auto-crafting more wood. So we are constantly filling up here. Right, great. This, and now we're filling up, and here we're filling up again. So everything is working perfectly, and here we're getting our charcoal. Well, I said 64 here, but we will get a few more because they will be output into this pipe and into this interface, and not before they have entered the network in this interface. Then these emitters will be turned off. If that's a problem, just lower it to 60 or 50 or whatever. But a few extra charcoal is usually not a problem. Okay, so the charcoal will be then exported over here. And these export, oops, I don't want to do that. There we are. And this export bus will always export charcoal, and as you can see, these are filled up, configured to be high. This is a minor change, actually an improvement compared to the old build. I won't go back because if you've seen it, you know it. But this energy cell is now like half full. And I have this relay to be a comparator input with a threshold higher than 7. So when we are, let's see, this one wants to be high and to run, and then these ones are of course inverted to match that. So that means that when we are lower than a 7/16 or something out of 50 million, we will get this turned on, and this lamp was added just to make it clearer. And they're both are the same, so these will run when we are low on energy. All right, so far so good, very simple. Now let's talk about the fertilizer stuff. So the fertilizer slot, in my recipe, I am using the highest tier of Phytogenic. It's called Fluxed, and this is crafted Phytogenic. So basic one is crafted from pulverized charcoal, and this one, Niter and slag. Same as last build, Niter and slag they come from ore processing and sand processing, or sandstone processing. In a mod pack or with other mods, you might have different ways of getting Niter, perhaps, and slag for that matter. But in true thermal, I am doing this like so. I have a pulverizer here. Here I'm exporting all my ores. And let's take a few tin ones. And you can see they will, there we go. They are going out in a very slow pace. I have no acceleration here. And the dust will be sent back to this interface. Well, I could send them over here directly, but I just made it simpler so that everything goes back, and that means all the extra output, all the slag and cinnabar, they will just all go here. I could have filtered it here, had a buffer chest or something, but let's keep it simple. This export bus, sand, and all the pulverized stuff. So why the sand? Well, this induction smelter wants sand to run with iron, tin, and pulverized stuff. So let's see if I can find the recipes. I guess this one. So pulverized iron and sand will give me the ingot, of course, but then also slag every now and then. And we need to fill the sand filled up as well. So let's see, sand goes here and slag goes into the network. And then we have the Niter part Well, sand as well, because here I'm pulverizing sandstone. And I have an export bus here. So this means that I need to keep sandstone in my system at all times. Unless you can get Niter from somewhere else. So if we go back here, we'll take a look at the sandstone. In Pulverizer, we have a 40% chance to get Niter and we get 2 sand. So this is a perfect operation for us because we need sand and we need Niter. Probably we'll get more Niter than we need compared to sand. You can see we have lots of Niter here. So I guess gathering sand from some other place, perhaps pulverizing stone into gravel and then sand might be an additional source. But anyway, to prevent this from running at all times, I have these 2 level emitters. One emitter here that says if we have less than 64 Niter, then turn on the machine because it's configured to be run on high signal. Or if we have less than 64 sand, we turn it on. So either one of them. As you can see, we have a few sand here, 77, so this will last for a bit longer. But this step to get Niter and slag, that's what's most important. The ore processing and the sandstone stuff, I mean, you can get that from other sources as well. So why do we need them? Well, as I said, we need Phytogrow. And Phytogrow is crafted from Niter, slag, and we do that in here. Here we have the recipe, encoded pattern, 1 Niter, 1 pulverized charcoal, and 1 slag will give us a 16. And we are using them, well, I can craft them from here. I can just click craft and do what I want. Even if I just craft 1, then we will get 16, of course. We need pulverized charcoal though. And we get that from over here. This pulverizer, nothing fancy. This will run at all times. This is just waiting for something to be dumped in there. So if I dump this here, it will run and the stuff will be exported directly to this interface. You can see it's go in, out, backside. Here we have pulverized charcoal to get one from 1 charcoal. And we use that here. This export bus to this fluid transposer, getting sap from here. Again, as I said in the last video, I don't know if you need 10 of them, but at least we have the Phytogrow here, and you fill them with the sap. That will give you rich Phytogrow. And same as we had over there, this export bus with a crafting card will always craft Phytogrow if we have it, otherwise it will auto-craft it and then export. This one will just immediately send, you can see backside out, because this is the front, and going back into this infuser, where we will simply transform the rich Phytogrow into the fluxed Phytogrow. And this is configured to run on high, and we have a level emitter here, and the finished output will just be sent up here and go to this interface again. The level emitter here will, same as before, if we are lower than 64, then we'll add or we'll craft some. So this is a simple setup. One for exporting and one for actually doing the final step. Let's see, was that all? I think so. We are crafting the wood, we are burning to charcoal for the dynamo and for the pulverized. Keep stock at all times. And the rest should be pretty automated at this point. Now, there is one minor thing I would like to change while we're doing this. I usually try to reduce the number of channels. You see, now it's actually running because we needed some power. We had too few wood. So now it's just living its own life. Yeah, I will try to reduce the amount of channels used. Here we have 6 channels, over here 6 as well, 2 over here, and then 2 going that way, and then of course, well, the auto crafting setup with a molecular assembler and CPUs and storage, I don't count those really, but 2 here and then 6, 6 and 2. But I would actually like to remove this one, this interface, remove the wood from here, and that should be okay. And then let's see. The purpose of doing this is that I want to use this method instead. Actually, I will demonstrate the issue first. So let's say that we are really low on energy. Everything is working, everything is functional, but we need to produce power constantly. So let's kill this cell and place an empty one. Now we need those dynamos running full speed for quite some time. Let's see, do I have my multimeter? Yeah. My multimeter here will tell me that we are 1920 RF per tick. So almost 2K RF per tick from this setup. So it will fill up rather quickly, but we will burn through stuff as well. And well, we need a lot of wood for this. And this means that those two will output constantly and they will order, well, lots of wood from here. And they will occupy this crafting CPU actually quite a lot because it's not too fast to do this. One operation isn't very fast. You can see it's slowly going through here, and all this time the CPU will be busy. So let's see if we can disable this and do it the other way around instead. So away with the pattern. Now it will complain a lot, but it's fine. I want to, well, remove this entirely. Okay, and then I want to import from the back and then output everything up top. Itemduct here. So now if we send stuff in here, it should be correct. Okay, next step is a level emitter here. And this is, I want a high signal to run. And I want wood. And if we are below, let's say 64 or 60. Are we below 64? Yep, we are at 0. So let's see. Oh, I need a sapling and a Phytogenic. So one of those and one of those, and then export bus. And we need an acceleration card. No, sorry, capacity card. Capacity card, sapling, fluxed Phytogenic. Let's see what will happen here. I want that acceleration card anyway. Great, now we're filling up 4, 64, 64. These are full. These will be output at all times. Now I don't need that anymore. And they will run until we have 64 wood in the system. And this one can be cancelled because that pattern is not active anymore. This one. Okay, so adding this servo should not be needed. I don't know why I had to do it, but if you run into a problem, this might be the way to fix it. So at least now we're getting everything to be sent out. Oh well. But except for that minor detail that I haven't seen before, I like this method better because we're not occupying the crafting CPU. That was the whole purpose of changing. We're using 2 channels instead. Slightly more advanced setup, or I mean, it's an additional step to get running, but if you manage everything else, this should be easy. Okay, so except for that little weird thing in the end, I hope this inspires you to build something similar or improving this. So thanks for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one. Take care, and bye bye.